Okay, I think we had a bit of a nightmare there, Marshall.
Oh, yeah, we might have to start again, mate. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, that's okay. No
Thank
worries.
God it was like 10 minutes in and not.
Well, it was actually 15, you fucking muppet. Anyway, lead in. We're
So-
really professional.
It's all good.
Go, numbnuts.
I will go. Now, you just got me. You got me annoyed.
We needed the warm up.
We did need a warm up. So anyway, we'll get straight into it. Today, guys, it's a warm welcome back to not only Australia's favourite meditation teacher and spiritual healer, but the Brink's very own personal guru, Andrew Marsh, who's back to share some more wisdom, insight into the world of meditation, spiritualism, and all things Zen. Marshi, namaste, and welcome back to the Brink. It's amazing to have you here. It's good to see you. It's been ages.
Yeah, it's good to see you, boys.
It hasn't been that long. It hasn't been that
It hasn't
long.
been that long.
But I tell you what, I swore that I was going to talk about my little my meditation journey. But since I saw you, pretty much every day I've had a crack at it, right? And I tell you what I've found. I don't think I'm a very good meditator because I fall asleep quite a bit, which is good, right? But I've found that I'm way calmer and that I don't react to shit anymore. Like everyday life and stuff comes along. And normally for me, if something comes along, I'm like, oh, fuck, and I've got to get onto it and da-da-da. Now I look at it and I go, that's okay. I can just chill with that for a bit and have a think about it. And I've never been like that. I'm always like, problem comes along, right, throw everything out at a million miles an hour and go, that probably wasn't the right idea. Now I just, it's real, it's weird. And even you've said I've chilled.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say self-regulation is your strongest skill set, but you can do it now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say you're a different person, but...
Yeah, so... And I'm
level.
Useless. I'm not useless at it. Like I said, I think I fall asleep a lot. Like I'll be sitting there and I do my little thing, I feel real good, and then I have a little giggle and shit at myself because I watch myself. I'm like, well, there you go, your mind's off again, and you bring it back and that sort of consciousness, right? But then I'll be like, right into it, and then I'll poof. And I'll fall off the chair and I'm like, holy shit. So what is that? That's not meditating, right? When you fall asleep.
No, it's if your
Bugger.
intent is to meditate and you start to meditate, if you fall asleep during the meditation, that's absolutely fine. If your nervous system takes you there, you're not going to be able to fight that.
Okay.
But the thing is, if you are feeling quite tired, like really tired, the chances of you having a sleep are pretty high. Don't always have to. We attempt not to meditate when we're super, super tired, because the chances of us going straight into sleep is pretty high. But if you do have the intention of meditating and during the meditation you fall asleep, that's absolutely fine.
I often do it after, so I get up in the morning, I fluff around, take the kids to school, come back, have a workout at home, right? and then I meditate. I have a cold shower, and then I go outside, sit on the deck, get the sun on my face, love meditating in the sun. Like even the winter sun, it's just cool. And just like chill. And I find that I wasn't going to talk about it because it sounds like, oh, yeah, I meditate, like I'm some form of guru. I'm so not a guru, right? But shit, it's helped me. It's absolutely helped me because, I'm like a bull in the gate, right?
Yeah, the number one thing that meditation does immediately is it renders choiceless stress, tension, and fatigue accumulation. So the body will actually remove stress, tension, and fatigue. This happens immediately. The moment you close your eyes, in fact, if you simply, as a human being, close your eyes and you take out that stimuli, the body naturally starts to remove stress, tension, and fatigue the moment you shut your eyes.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. Meditation, it's, a lot of people think the goal of meditation is to remove stress, tension, and fatigue. It's a symptom. It's a symptom of it. All we're doing is actually being, and a symptom of naturally being is the removal of stress, tension, fatigue out of the human nervous system. So, yeah.
So, Marshy, the episode we did with you last year, we got so much feedback, all of it positive, lots of people asking questions. And I found it fascinating because I always thought meditation was about quietening the mind. And it's something I thought I'd love to be able to do that, but I've got the busiest mind ever. There's just no chance in hell I'm ever going to. And you said in that episode, anyone can meditate. And I was like, I bet you I'm the only one who never will be able to. But it so turned out that I happened to be in Australia a week or two later, and we caught up, and it was this divine intervention, so to speak. And you suggested I do the course. So I came down to your place, and I did the course over a weekend. I was fucking jet lagged. I just arrived in the day before, I think, from Europe. Anyway, it was a 12-hour course, and to use a cliche, I think it's changed my life. Completely changed my life. It was intense. It was full on. It was one-on-one like this, right? And, this room Marshy has set up in his home overlooking the waves. It's just beautiful. But there was a lot of information to take in, a lot of technical information too, right? And then, you're learning to go on this new journey. And I, learned the beginnings of meditation. Can you give a bit of an insight into the purpose of what we did in that course was? And then I'd love to talk about the gains and benefits and things I've had since then, because it's been life-changing, as I said.
Oh, that's lovely, David.
We'll put a link in our bio.
Oh, mate, that's beautiful.
That's condescending, isn't it?
Spiritual journey.
To answer that question, people come to meditation for a variety of reasons. Most reasons seem to be different on the outside, but on the inside they're exactly the same. So people come because they're stressed out, they've been working too hard, they've got kids, they've got families to look after, they've got mortgages, just the rigours of daily life will have a lot of people come and learn to meditate because they're wigging out. Their nervous systems have taken on so much, as I said, stress, tension and fatigue, that they're starting to trip out a bit. That's one of the main ones that people come. The other one is that they just don't understand. They're not feeling themselves. There's just this background itch that they just can't seem to scratch, and they're just going like, I could be living this amazing life in this amazing world, but for some reason something's stopping me. And I'm addicted to fucking everything. I'm always on my phone, or I'm always fucking drinking, I'm always taking drugs, I'm doing this, that, and the other, because I'm trying to itch that itch that I can't seem to get at. And that's just it's just a misinformed state of consciousness that is, we keep thinking we're going to be able to satiate it from the objective world. So anything in the objective world that you can see, hear, taste, all of this sort of stuff, we're going to be able to satiate ourselves, fulfill ourselves using people, places, circumstances, things, whatever it may be. But everything here that we can see in the room you're in, or whatever, in the television screen you might be looking at, or the laptop, or whatever you're doing, nothing here is going to provide that for us. We will not be fulfilled through the objective world. We just won't be. And so people come to learn to meditate because they know there's something else that's available to them. They just can't put their finger on it. And until they meet a meditation teacher or somebody like that who can point them in the direction of something like this, they think it's out of their reach. And when it comes to the actual meditation, they think because the mind's constantly telling you shit, the constant thoughts and everything, that they won't be able to do it. Yeah. So they kind of don't want to start.
So I thought the purpose of meditation was just to give your brain a rest for 20 minutes a day. Like just to chill. I had no idea that there could be any...
It's not so much giving your brain a rest. It's the entire body and nervous system.
It's just so much more than that, because we talk a lot about addiction and searching for, the external sources of happiness, and meditation, as I'm learning, because I'm doing more reading and things like that, teaches us that happiness, or true happiness, can only really come from within. as I understand it. And, we try to satiate our pain or our emptiness with alcohol, with drugs, with sex, with money. And I've spoken about the fact that I've battled, I am just as an addict, I've battled addiction my entire life. It's always something that's there, even though I've been sober from alcohol for 14 years. Like if I can grab a Panadol, I'll just have it because it's a pill. If it's exercise, if it's food, if it's this or that. And I can, on my life, tell you that in the last 33 days, I've meditated 18 hours, and that's been like on and off, 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night. And I can feel that drive, that addictive drive in me just like dissipating. It's like I don't have any urges or needs to just feel out of state. Does that make sense? I didn't even think this would be a side effect of what you've taught me.
Yeah.
It's
100%.
insane.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot more than what meets the eye. So, as a teacher, I can only explain meditation to a point, but it's your direct experience and then you reporting back to me what's going on. Mm-hmm. And this is a very common thing. But, I've got to be careful not to tell people, especially listening to a podcast or something, that meditation is going to do something like a specific thing for you.
Yeah.
Even though I know through direct experience myself and through the people who I've taught over all these years, there seems to be definite feedback which has a almost 100% kind of thing about it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be telling people that this is going to change or this is going to get better or this is going to... But definitely with addiction, because everyone... The word addiction we've got to be very careful of using here.
Sure.
But everybody is looking for something. And so when we continue to repeatedly look in the same place for something, we could call that addiction, okay? Mm-hmm. So whether or not everyone sort of considers addiction to do with drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's actually not. There's a chemical component to it. And human beings are very good at distraction. And then that distraction becomes an ever-repeated known. And suddenly you're in the grips of what we're calling addiction. But there's nothing wrong with addiction. It's just we make it wrong, but there's nothing actually wrong with running experiments to the point where you get to see for yourself directly that it's not actually giving you what you went out to seek.
Mm.
And then and only then people put their hand up and say, look, I'm stuck in this rut. And this is where people talk about recovery and stuff. And that's incredible. And you meet the most incredible human beings in so-called recovery. You hear their stories, you hear why they went for it, all of that sort of stuff. And that's a real human being. Mm. I'd be in a much better situation in that situation than thinking that I had everything going on, thinking that I had this world, tucked away and everything was safe and everything was secure, everything was non-changing, all of this sort of stuff, and I could just control every aspect of life. That's not going to happen. And so this is where people find themselves going for things at the rate of knots and getting themselves into what we're calling an addiction. Again, be careful of that word because there's a stigma around it that it's not quite, the finger's not quite on the pulse of this. Mm. As I say, there is nothing wrong with this. It is an experiment that people have been running until they don't, until the experiment is complete and they say, how did you go? Well, it started out where I felt quite good and I felt quite fulfilled, and then it ended up not fulfilling me. Mm. And that's basically the same story, isn't it? Everything.
Yeah.
So we experiment, and so this is where meditation can come in, because suddenly, even if you wanted to get addicted to it, you just can't. Mm. It's not available for that because we're not reaching out to the objective world anymore. It's only anything in the objective world that's going to be able to do that to us. Once we're simply just being, and we're simply sitting there in our own natural state, you cannot be addicted to that. There's no measure of addiction in that. It's not available.
It just is.
It just is. Yeah. It's a beingness. Yeah. And that's why it's very hard to explain all of this stuff with the limited amount of words that we have in this language.
It's a feeling, eh?
It is about direct experience.
Yeah. You're too right.
So people listening can understand a little bit. Like in the course, obviously you extrapolated everything out over 12 hours. We did some meditations and things like that. But before we even got into that, there's almost like a theory and there's a practical side to things. And, you gave me what you call a mantra. And can you explain just a little bit about, we don't need to go deep into it because you're giving away all the secrets, how that works, why you have a mantra and what goes on in a meditation and what you're trying to achieve by avoiding overthinking.
Okay, so what I teach is a style called Vedic meditation, Vedic, pronounced Vedic.
Mm-hmm.
The word Veda would mean knowledge or supreme knowledge. And basically, the mantra, what we do is we provide a mantra for people learning meditation. A mantra is just a highly refined sound, word, or vibration without intrinsic meaning. And what we do is we give this to the person learning meditation, and then that person is able to gently repeat in their mind this word, sound, or vibration. It has an intrinsic, so here's the top of the mind, wavy, active, planning, projecting. Here's the bottom of the mind, beautiful, still, quiet, subtle state of the mind. So we've got this mind, and here's where the thoughts are playing out up here. What we do is we drop the mantra into the mind, and then we gently repeat it. It becomes more intrinsically charming to the mind, thereby starts to refine itself. So we're heading towards the beautiful, still, quiet, subtle state of the mind.
That's why you need a mantra.
That's why you fall asleep.
and here's the funny thing. Then something very interesting can happen. It's not the goal, but it can happen. And that is that the mantra is refined beyond the mind, where transcendence can be reached. It is not the goal of meditation, okay? It's just something that can happen if your nervous system requires it to happen.
Hasn't happened.
Marshy, can you explain transcendence?
Yeah. No, I can't.
Excellent.
That's the thing. The transcendent state is a direct experience. It means no thought, no mantra, nothing.
No mind. Just being.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say no mind. You could say no mind. No experience of thought.
Right.
No mantras, no experience of thought.
Yeah, sounds pretty damn good
no
to me.
Thing.
Yeah.
No
thing.
So the direct experience of nothing.
Yeah.
So the mantra is designed to distract the ego. Is that right?
Well, the mantra is simply something to take the attention. It's just to take our attention. If you want to say ego, if you want to call it ego, here's an interesting thing. If you want to say it like that, let's just say because the mantra does not have an intrinsic meaning to it, the intellect doesn't really give a fuck about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it sort of bypasses the intellect.
Okay.
Because the intellect doesn't want to really know anything about something it can't chew on.
Yeah, because it's pretty mundane. They're like, what's it?
That's exactly
What's it like? What's your one?
You're not supposed
No,
to.
you can't say it, you don't say it.
But it's like that. It's like it's something like a dom dom ding.
Yeah.
Oh, it's something corny.
Is that the intellect's not interested in it.
Yeah.
The ego is interested in it. You see?
Right. Yeah, but the ego
So
would say to
the
it,
faint attention, as Ringo said, of ego, which is simply an innocent bystander, as I said in the last podcast, that has been imprinted upon. So when people think of ego being bad,
yes,
you've got to be very careful of saying ego is bad. It's simply imprinted upon. from intellect. But if the intellect's not interested in this mantra, ego will, and it will follow it down. Hence why the ego, if you transcend, the ego's getting a dip in the transcendent state.
Yeah.
Therefore, its grip on you starts to dissolve. Because anything, any expression, any experience directly in a transcendent state will dissolve anything else. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's sort of like just dipping it in. I've never really explained it like this, but it's sort of like a pool of love, and you dip something that's not experiencing love in the pool of love to give it a bit of a taste.
Gotcha.
It's a bit like that.
Yeah.
I've never explained it like that. It feels fucking weird, but anyway.
No, mate, but like
I get it. It's a good visual.
It's awesome. Like, it's so interesting to talk to you, Marshy, because we don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
Hey, like, we just give you a question and away you go. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, because this is like, it is. It's what's the word? Like this spiritual, this sort of realm. Like, a lot of people look at it like, oh, if you say to people, oh, I meditate or whatever, they kind of look at you like, oh, yeah, you're airy fairy,
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? It has that sort of stigma, like, oh,
yeah, it does.
But you're not walking around. You're not walking around going, hey, I meditate. Not at all. Like, if anything, you're walking around going, hey, I meditate. Because it's sort of frowned upon, right? It's got a lot of sort of not a bad vibe, but you know what I mean. It's like people look at you and go, oh, you don't drink piss. Oh, you don't do drugs. You meditate. Whoopee.
Well, I think a lot of people think maybe you're going to turn up in orange robes and be banging like a tambourine.
Yeah, it's got that sort of
I
thing.
could get there. I could live in a cave.
But, like, I don't reckon I could. But the thing that it's given me, fuck, I don't know what it's given me. Well, anyway, it's given me a little bit of peace. It's given me some peace. Yeah. It's like, so, like, I've been having a crack at it for pretty much every day since I left New Zealand, which has been awesome. I've been going through some pretty heavy shit. So it's been nice to be able to just find a little time in your day just to go quiet and sort of just get really present, and try and just be, like you say, like just to be and just sit with yourself and just watch your thoughts. And then when you come out of it, like, I find that I don't react as much as I used to, like, I'm not triggered by the things that used to trigger me. It's still like I'm aware, but I have a sort of calmness about me now to a certain extent, and I can evaluate things a lot better.
Yeah, you're very different.
Yeah, I've just chilled. And the other thing, I wasn't going to talk about this, but I mean, I've been smashing it for years. Good time, Charlie. Then I just went, nah. Can't be asked. Just dropped everything, literally everything, mate. Drink, parties. Yeah. I don't go out, like nothing, like nothing, Yeah. And like, it sounds really fucking boring, and it is. But I tell you what, I've never felt better. Like, I don't even go to the gym. I exercise at home. Like,
but are you equating that in part to the meditation?
Oh, just like. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I actually don't know. But all I know is that now that I feel like it's been a massive change in my life. I feel like a much better parent. Not that I wasn't a good parent before, but I feel like I'm way more present. Like actually in the moment. When your kids are laughing and yelling and da-da-da. Now I'm like, you're laughing and yelling with them and I'm screaming real loud and shit. Whereas before I'd be like, hey, calm down. Keep your voice down. Now I'm like, yeah. because fuck, it doesn't matter. It actually doesn't matter. And my kids are like, hey, my dad's cool.
It's anything. So what you were talking about is the stigma of meditation has to it a kind of fucking hell, this guy's boring. And, used to be a party head, used to be fun, all of this sort of stuff. And now he's a meditator, and now life's going to get really boring and really stiff. Yeah. And it's going to be really beige. And
but it ain't.
What we call the beige brigade, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. When you do start meditation, sometimes there can be this such a beautiful feeling of stillness within you that you kind of want to enjoy it so much that you do recede a little bit from life, from your daily activities and stuff, and you do recede somewhat because you're just enjoying this fucking peace for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And very quickly, what nature will do will be to have you back, but you'll have the most beautiful spark in your eyes, and you'll be back bigger and better than you ever were. So you'll be a frother, but you'll still have that beautiful stillness and that beautiful peace.
Mate,
He's definitely a frother.
Mate, we went to the supermarket today, right? We went to the supermarket today, and I've been out for a couple of days. Well, fuck me dead. Like, I was like batshit crazy.
Yeah, we nearly got arrested 3 times.
Like, no, I didn't get arrested, but
nearly.
Like, you get so excited, right? And like just the simple, it's a joy for life. I think that's what you find. Like, so I was saying to David, you know, like, when I go over to see my daughter and stuff, I said to my daughter, I said, oh, things have changed a bit, Jamie. I said, I'll still go out, but I won't partake. But I reckon I'll have way more anyway, because I'm pretty jacked up as it is. But you realise that all the substances and everything you tried to drink or whatever and all that sort of stuff, it actually dumbs you down. It actually puts your fire out rather than lights your fire. And that's what I've found, you know, like I feel like I've got way more energy, you know, like just, and yeah, I don't know. It's really hard to describe. And I guess it's everybody's path is different.
No, you're describing it well. Here's the thing. You are describing it well. Because you can, when people describe their experiences of life and they associate it with the meditation, you can hear very clearly where they're coming from if you notice. If you really notice, really listen, you can hear that there's a lot going on. There's a lot of change.
Yeah.
But the change is just, it's coming through that nervous system, and it's just coming, and it's being able to be melded in with daily life.
Yeah.
So it's what we do is, there's an old saying in this meditation, established in being, perform action, which is a beautiful saying. So we establish ourselves in human being, we establish ourselves in being, that's when we meditate, and then we come out of meditation, and what do? We naturally, effortlessly come into action. We go into action. And that action is simply a reflection of being able to establish first in being. And then what happens, everything we do is established in being. So it cultivates a state of, there's now no establishing and then action. It's almost going at the same time. That action is always established in being at all times, kind of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But at first you might notice when you start meditation that you're establishing yourself and then going out, establishing yourself and then going out.
That's true.
That's what the breath does. That's what the tides do. That's what the planetary movements do. All of that stuff. But then it just becomes, it feels like here's, say, establishing yourself in being, here's performing action. It starts to flow like that more.
Yeah.
The two of them start to intertwine, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, like I would say to anybody that, you know, like, to give it a go because it's free. That's the other thing. Oh, well, unless you go to you. Sorry,
I said to before, I'm not a charity case.
No, but you know, like, you can read about it, you can do it. You know, like, obviously, I think I would definitely recommend going to a teacher. I think that would really help. Obviously, you know,
I couldn't recommend it enough.
It's helped you, like. Yeah, it's been amazing.
It's one of the things, if you don't mind me interrupting, Matthew, is talking about that knock-on effect from the practice into the day-to-day. That's something else I didn't really kind of bank on, was that I thought meditation would be a separate thing. You did a little recharge, you go out and you live your life, you have better coping skills. And what I find is it's the settling of the mind and this learning the ability while you're meditating to disperse these invasive thoughts, or like observing them. Like Eckhart Tolle calls it the silent observer. You see it, and it's almost like they melt away, these invasive thoughts, as I'm meditating, and I think I'm getting better at it. But what I'm noticing, and just I'm out and about doing my day-to-day stuff, something will piss me off, or an invasive thought will come in, or a negative thought, or a positive thought, or anything. A thought that's not really my own, but it's telling me stuff that I normally would listen to. And I'm finding I'm just able to be like, swipe up, it's gone. Boom. Swipe up, it's gone.
And it's swipe left.
Swipe left. It's like, it's becoming second nature. And the stuff that I would like ruminate on and like take on and like stress about, now I just go, not my thought, boom. And that's coming because I'm practicing on a daily basis. Is that indicative
so
of the process?
In this style of meditation, you're going to see it in your waking state.
It's insane.
So whatever's taking place in that meditation, it's sort of like, training on the rugby field, Reggie.
Yeah.
What you do in training turns up on the fucking Saturday.
100%.
That's 100%.
Yeah.
So how you attend or have your not good intention, just an intention, what your intention is going on to that training paddock will show up as a replica on game day.
For sure.
And this is what meditation does. So we don't have good intentions. The path to hell is paved with good intentions. It's an old saying. There's nothing truer. All the people in the world walking around with these good intentions, it's all a path to hell. It really is.
So what do you reckon we should be running around with bad intentions?
We don't. Yeah, you don't should anything. We have intentions.
Yeah.
The intention here is to simply be, and so by meditating, we're simply cultivating a state of nowness.
Yes.
And
yes.
that nowness, that presence, is all that's our greatest currency, is our presence for other people, for ourselves, for anything to do in the world, to do with the oceans, to do with other animals, to do with anything. Our presence is our greatest currency.
Yeah.
So meditation is simply setting us up for that.
And that's the thing with the kids. With my children and sort of stuff like that, that's when you really find it, because there'll be times when you're hanging with your kids, but you're not there. You're there, but you're there physically, but you're not there mentally, right? Because you're off in your own mind. You'll be thinking about, I've got this to sort out, I've got this to worry about, I've got that, da-da. And, they're the day-to-day, the stuff that we have to do and we have to plan for and we've got to think about. But all you really have is the present moment, right? But we skip that.
But it seems simple.
We skip that, eh? We skip it. We go, we project ourselves in the future, or we reminisce about the past.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And I reckon that's the human disease.
Yes, it is. It's the human condition that the present moment is made into an obstacle.
Yeah.
It's made into a means to an end.
Something to get through.
And it's made into something that's an enemy.
Yeah.
And we want to avoid it at all costs. So we bring the past, we put it in, and we live through it into this so-called future. Anything to avoid now, we will do. And this is where we were talking about addiction and stuff before. That's where all of that sort of stuff comes from.
Yeah.
So we're meditating. We're cultivating a natural state of nowness. It's the only way I can put it.
Yeah.
And you suddenly come out, and because you're feeling so much more fresh and available and so present, it has to be the meditation.
Yeah.
You can't think your way in to presence. You can only be present.
Yeah.
And so when we're meditating, we're being. So we're not practicing being per se. You
We're just
could
being.
get away with that. You could get away with that, but I'd prefer not to say it specifically like that. But we are being, and then you bring that out, and that's what starts to take place. That's your direct experience comes from that place.
Yeah.
If we start to think our way, or if we try to meditate, you're fucked.
Yeah.
We don't try to meditate. If you try to do life, if you try to think things or think in a positive way, affirm anything, all it's doing is bringing up the opposite. If you have affirmations, I'm good enough, I'm worthy enough, I'm lovable enough, and you keep saying them to yourself, people think this is a really good thing. But all it's doing is affirming that something's not happening.
Gotcha.
So we don't need to go there. I'm not saying it's wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we don't need to go there. If we can just meditate,
Yeah.
we will create that state of beingness.
Yeah.
Our state of consciousness, our state of awareness and awakeness will broaden. And then everything becomes more inclusive than exclusive.
Yeah.
Suddenly you can see yourself as not just the little body and the little mind as being mine, but you are of a greater notion, the cosmos.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
I know this is getting a little bit...
No, but this is...
way out, but here's what you start to feel. You don't think it. You start to actually feel it.
Yeah. I
And
know.
then that's when it really gets fucking cool because...
Yeah, but it sounds corny, but it's true. It sounds corny as fuck. Oh, you're my brother, you're my sister. I'm the tree,
exactly
I'm
right.
the grass, I'm the sky. I mean, it sounds batshit, right? And it's like,
He is off the drugs.
Crazy, but
He is, I promise.
it sounds batshit crazy.
but it's true. Hey.
That's fucking it.
Yeah.
Fucking it.
I know. No, don't worry, we're selling this really well, mate.
I'd want a bit of this if I was watching it. I'd be
Oh,
like,
me too. Hey, take it easy. Marcy's married.
I don't mean that.
Oh, too funny. But that's so true, though, Marcy. It is. It's like, actually, that's how you kind of, well, hopefully that's how I'd like to think that I'll get to that level. But I tell you what, it's been so interesting, and like the amount of stuff I've learned about myself and just getting used to spending time on your own as well has been, just during the day, and I don't have to go and see people or whatever. It doesn't matter if I don't have friends around, or I'm really comfortable in my own skin. And I think that has happened because not just of meditation. It's obviously, as you grow and you learn and stuff, but I think that learning to, or trying to meditate, or finding time to give yourself that space to grow is like, it's blessed, really. I feel really fortunate and a lot of people say like, oh, where do I find the time? But you only need 10 minutes, right? 10, 15 minutes.
20.
Yeah, but even 20. But they go, where am I going to find 20 minutes? But you can find 20 minutes.
That's only the style I teach, is the 20 minutes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's I was just having a joke. But look, any amount of meditation and whatever style you do is going to have benefits.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Now, I prefer the style that I teach, or I wouldn't teach it.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that. But as I say, if I'd never done any other styles, I'd be very biased. But I have done all the styles, and they're all fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that they're not awesome. All I'm saying is the people who I teach are busy people with demands upon them. And that means that they've got mortgages, they've got kids, they've got family, they've got friends, they've got partners, they've got cars, they're driving on roads. They're in these situations with a lot of energy going on around them, okay, because they're living in places which are quite heavily populated, and especially places like Sydney. And the chances of wigging out in Sydney as opposed to in Monaco or something where you've got a little bit of land around you and you just got the beautiful trees and all that sort of stuff. The guys in Sydney are fucking wigging out like nothing else.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most expensive cities to live now. And the energy in Sydney now is, it's very agitated.
Really?
What do you put that down to?
Really?
I put that down to just the way that human beings are coming to life. It's not just Sydneyites. It's not just Australians. It's the world at large, but it's you can put it down to a lot of things. But if we take all the things that it's about, and that is finance and how difficult it is, affordability in a city like Sydney has, it's tripled in whatever the statistics is in the last 15 years or something.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Unbelievable.
And so to keep up with that is wigging people out. So obviously there's agitated nervous systems around the place.
Yeah.
And so there's been a big demand for meditation.
Yeah.
In the last decade, I've noticed, say a decade ago to today, I've noticed a massive shift in the amount of people now coming to me.
Yeah.
A massive shift in the amount of people who are, and the people who you never thought would are all now putting their hand up going, I can't fucking do this anymore. That's a great thing. I mean,
awesome.
It's awesome that they're going to be frothing. That's all they've been after the whole time anyway.
Yeah.
We're all here to have fun. We're all here to froth. We're all here to be available to each other. We're all here to be of service for one another. And yet we're too scared to jump in and jump on the oval. We all want to sit in the stands with fucking beer and throw bottles at the referee and complain. But not many people are prepared to jump onto the fucking oval. And that's just fear.
Yes.
We're stuck. A lot of people are stuck. And that's
very true, bro.
But that's not a bad thing. Again, we do not make this bad. It's just something that we can observe and say, let's shift that.
Make a change.
How do we do that? Well, we've got to be there for each other if we're going to shift that. We're not going to be able to do this alone.
No.
So we can do this collectively. That's going to be much better than if one person just goes, I'm fucking sick of this, I'm going here. But it does start with you.
Yeah.
It does. The responsibility, the ability to respond to what I'm talking about rests with the so-called individual. And then collectively we can do it.
Yeah.
So you go to a meditation teacher, you're not doing it alone.
Yes.
Then you're in a community and you're available. And a lot of people will realize this, maybe not now, but in time to come, is that, this state of fulfillment, and happiness and aliveness and availability is only there when we're putting our hand up to be of service to others.
Yes.
It really
I agree,
is.
bro. 100%.
And then that selfishness, that self-centeredness gets taken out of the picture. And suddenly you realize, holy shit. And that doesn't mean being subservient. It doesn't mean just going out and being of service to others and completely disregarding ourselves. That's not the case. We get ourselves humming firstly, and then we have the ability to go out and be of service.
Yeah, totally.
If we're not humming, we're not going to have that capability. You see?
Yeah. But you get such
the meditation will bring that capability. Capability is available at all times to us. We just have to shut the fuck up and be.
Yeah.
And then that capability will fucking come thick and fast.
Yeah.
And it's our natural state.
Yeah.
Simple. And that's with everything. And direct experience is the only way that people are going to, I can say what I like here.
Yeah.
I can say what I like, but the thing is, it's not until you directly experience this that it's going to be true for you.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you think a lot of this rise in this search for like spirituality or people looking into meditation is kind of a result of, say, like the last 35 years, like the 80s, greed is good. We're told the more we acquire, the more success we have, the more money we have, the more things we have, the bigger house, the happier we'll be. And we're brought up to believe this and told that will be our nirvana or whatever. And I think a lot of people are getting or acquiring things and finding that it's not bringing them the happiness that they thought. And they're now looking at other things. So like, what is the balance between spiritual happiness and living in the real world? Because like, I like nice things. Like, I like turning left when I get on a plane, like I like a nice car, but I know that now that these things won't bring me happiness. So where's the balance?
So the balance are in, again, it will be in your direct experience and your relationship with these things. If you're coming to them with anything in the specific world, whether it's a person, such as your partner or your family, whoever, even a pet, a person, a place, a situation, a circumstance, an event or a thing, including money and cars and turning left on planes and all that sort of stuff. There's nothing wrong with any of them. It doesn't mean that you are not spiritual because you're enjoying those things. That's not the case. It's your relationship to yourself.
Yeah.
It's your relationship then to those things. And so if your nervous system is in a sattvic place, is in a lovely balance, what will happen is the balance alone will have you being able to, you don't need to understand it. You'll just have the balance.
Yeah, gotcha.
Play. And you will be the balance that you're attempting to understand. That's you. You are that balance. So it will come out in different ways, but you'll see, shit, I used to turn left on a plane because I thought I was better than everybody else.
That's the difference, right?
Served it more than other people.
Yeah.
Or I need to do this so people can see me turning left on the, something like that.
Yeah.
Suddenly your relationship with that will change and you'll just go, you know what? I like turning left on the plane because I have the means to do it.
Or because you get a comfy seat.
I love the seat and you really enjoy the seat.
Yeah.
You enjoy the food and you enjoy
But you don't think
you
you don't think you're better than anybody else.
You're not looking at it as a fulfillment because the fulfillment's going to do this.
Yeah.
Creation, maintenance, and destruction of that.
Yeah.
Very, very quickly, a plane ride will be over.
Yeah.
So if you're hanging on to that and you are living on it and you are holding on tightly, rigidly attached to it, and the timings and outcomes of the next flight or something like that, well, you're going to feel bounded. You're going to feel that there's a certain, your binding effect, right? So this is what could be called, getting a little further along, is karma.
Yeah.
And the word karma simply means action. Don't start with the good, bad karma shit. We're not going there. It's not about that. But karma in and of itself, the action of karma does have a binding effect. And so if we continue to play the game of forgetting that everything in the objective world is fleeting, so it's forever changing, it is impermanent, and we're trying to hold on to it, you see, and we're saying this and this is that and this is mine and this and that and the other. All we're doing is loading ourselves up and we are chained up.
Yeah.
Live freely means that we can engage with everything. Nice cars, good people, blah, da, 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 da. It doesn't matter what it is. You can engage and there's an integral nature to it. There's integrity that is kept. There's an integration. And the way that you are coming to life will be a reflection of your state of awareness and awakeness. So your state of consciousness will be the reflection that you feel and see and then come to the world with. And that's as I say, that's your greatest currency.
Yeah.
And then others will be given permission to seek it for themselves or to have that experience themselves rather than looking at you going, why are you having this experience and I'm not? Because only somebody based in fear and lack will say something like that to themselves. And it's not bad. It's just that they haven't run the experiments enough.
Yeah.
Still running certain experiments and they haven't ended all things. So it's only when you really put the meditation, most people come to it, sadly, because it could be avoided, but a lot of people come to meditation with a white flag.
Yeah.
They may as well be holding a white flag when they walk through my doors.
Yeah.
And they're just going, Marshy, I'm yours. Just fucking do what you want with me because I'm fucking fried.
And it's not...
It doesn't have to happen, but it does. It's a common thing.
And and these people are successful people as well, right? They're successful,
Well,
they're not successful, whatever.
In terms of what has been called success.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like so if you measure success by financial,
the measure of success.
Yeah.
So I get very high demand sports people. I teach a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
A lot of CEOs of big companies.
Yeah.
A lot of people who are in high positions.
Yeah.
I've taught them all, right?
Yeah.
And I've taught mums and dads. I've taught HSC students. I've taught just anybody with a great demand upon them.
Yeah.
Now, some of these people who I've taught, the world looks at them as being highly successful, but I see anything but when they're sitting across from me going, Marshy, I am tripping.
Yeah.
I see anything but success.
Yeah. That's such a good point.
Yeah.
But I do see something, and that is a human being. And
Handy.
beautiful. That's beautiful because I don't give a fuck about success.
Yeah, totally.
It's not a word that I sit there thinking about.
Yeah.
But I love having a human being sitting in front of me going, mate, I've run all of these experiments. I've done the money thing. I've done the relationship thing. I've done the drug thing. I've done the alcohol thing. I've done this. I've done that. I've done this. And it's like, and how are you going? Well, I'm fucking sitting here. Yeah. And it's just like, okay, great, awesome.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Right? What we're going to do is just shift that methodology just a little bit. You've been going for it, and that's okay. And you're not far off it, strangely enough. We're just going to turn the dial just a little bit to the right, and we're going to have a different methodology of coming to the world.
Yeah.
And that is we're going to, as I say, establish ourselves in being, and then perform action.
Yeah. And be open.
Performing the action, expecting results to be coming, and expecting, the extraction from the world for your happiness. Mm. You cannot extract happiness from a person, a place, an event, a circumstance, and a thing. You cannot do it. Yeah. All you can do is you can actually, your fulfillment and your so-called happiness is going to be able to be placed into the outside world, into the objective world, not the other way.
Yes, so it's got to come from inside. It's got to come from you.
And it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy outside things. You can, but but you're not going to be fulfilled and you're not going to be happy because they are subject to this. But if you have this endless pit that you can place into, there's no amount of things you'll be able to place it to in your lifetime.
Yeah.
You can just keep going this way.
I wish they'd taught meditation at rehab when I went to rehab, because I tell you, I got off drink, but if I'd had this as well, rehab was amazing. If I'd had this as well, I'd have had 14 years of
completely off.
Yeah, in so many aspects of my life. Just in, I'm not saying this fixes addiction. We're not saying this, but it's helping mine. And this would have been a different 14 years. It's been a great 14 years, but I'd have had a less rocky road.
No,
it's incredible.
Yeah, it's funny because in the 12-step program, when in these 12 steps they have in, Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, Gamblers Anonymous. There's one in Sydney now, Cocaine Anonymous, apparently.
Mate, no shit.
Sydney.
Which is pretty
Sydney.
cool. I mean, it is Sydney.
Yeah, Cocaine Anonymous. Well, they could pretty much have that in every city in the world. Let's be honest.
But the beautiful thing about, the 12-step program is that in step 11, there is definitely a movement towards meditation. Mm. Meditation and prayer. And they're just saying through these avenues, the sustainability is there. And this is what Ringo was saying, had we had this in rehab, there would have been a more sustainable way of being able to get through everything. Yeah. Earlier on kind of thing. But in the 12 steps, it is written within the 12 steps that this is a part of what's going to be, an ongoing thing, which is great.
Because I feel like in when I was in rehab and even in AA, it was all about understanding you're an alcoholic because you're born this way, But it's since doing this meditation and on this podcast talking to other people like Lulu Cooper and stuff like that, it's this there's a bigger understanding that it's not necessarily about being born this way. It's about trying to just fill this void with external stuff, and it's completely changed the way I right from the beginning. I said I'm just an addict and it's my superpower and it's this and it's that. Well, I've changed my opinion. Like it's
which you're allowed to do.
We're allowed to do here, but
you're allowed to do. Again, this really is a gift of being flexible.
Yeah,
if you're rigidly attached to a way of looking at the world, it's not going to do you any favors. And that's why I've got to be very careful with my worldview when things take place to be, bring it in, allow it to be, but I'm not kind of sitting there like that to it. So I'm not saying to people, you have to do this and you have to believe this and you have to think this and this and the other. I don't have that within me. No. Because I have the ability to, there's a lot of movement and I can change. I'm constantly changing. I'm constantly evolving as you guys are, as everything is. There's only evolution taking place.
Yeah.
So I don't want to get rigidly attached to one worldview and then be completely and utterly umbrellaed by that one worldview without being available to see it from other people's points of view.
Yeah. And possibly change your mind.
And then I enjoy that point of view.
Yeah.
But one of the other things that what Ringo said is, wherever the tendency to drink or take drugs or whatever came from, whether it was a parent or whether it was, an environmental thing, whatever, it's not important.
Yeah.
It's not important. We're all still looking for the same thing, and that is our true nature. So when people are out here looking out here, they're actually looking for the same thing that a meditator is looking for.
Yeah.
But the meditator's going in the right direction. So it's barking up the right tree for the first time.
Yeah.
Instead of going out here, we simply go within, and suddenly you realize, shit, this out here is simply a reflection of what was already in here. We're just a simple, it's pretty fucking simple. Yeah. It's hard to talk about.
Yeah.
It really amount. We could be here for 6 hours if I was. But the thing is, so we've got, our words are limited, but when you discover, when it reveals to you what's going on, it's very simple. And it's like reading a fucking children's book. It's like reading ABC and you have to learn ABC. You're like, where's the hard stuff?
Yeah.
There's nothing hard about this world. There's nothing hard about this universe. There's no importance. There's no, everybody's taking it so seriously. There's nothing serious going on. We have made it serious.
Yeah.
But there's nothing serious going on when you really contemplate this place. There's nothing serious.
Yeah.
We're f***ing wigging out like never before in history.
Unless you're getting shot at, and that's pretty serious.
Yeah.
Hey, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, again, but again, it depends on how you're looking at it.
Totally. But in terms of,
I get why people could say that.
Yeah, but in terms of,
I can see why people are taking it seriously and important when there's wars going on and there's children not eating and there's, I get that. But the thing is, it's because of the way that we are coming as a species. Yep. Humanity is what Eckhart Tolle would say is insane.
Yeah.
We are insane. Yeah. Insanity is then reflected through the whole fucking place. Yeah. And that's all you're seeing.
Mm.
But the thing is, if you can transcend that, you can see further afield. You change your state of consciousness.
Yeah, mate.
And suddenly I don't look at the world like I used to. I just don't.
Yeah.
And I can't take it back.
Yeah.
And occasionally I might just wake up one morning and not feel quite the same as I did the day before, but I don't start going in, oh no, what's wrong?
Yeah.
I don't. I just go, okay, well,
swipe left.
I might be fighting a virus. I don't know. Maybe I've woken up.
Yeah. You chill. You're way more
it's
relaxed.
Fine. It's fucking cool.
Yeah, fucking
don't
A.
fight-
I'll just
don't
go and have a
fight
whack
it.
off.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we'll end it on there,
Whatever
eh?
floats your boat.
Holy moly.
So, Marshy, in closing, because we'll now leave you. But in closing, if there was somebody out there still sitting on the fence about starting meditation, like what's one compelling reason? I mean, I guess we've covered all of them, but what's one compelling reason you'd give them to take that first step and give it a try? Like what could be on the table for them?
Peace.
Marshy.
I think inspiration and enthusiasm is the only way to come to this. If I give advice to people why they could be meditating, I think advice, whenever anybody wanted to give me advice, I used to run away when I was younger. But if I saw somebody who was inspiring me and I could see the enthusiasm in them, that would be enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so if I was to say something to somebody who's considering meditation, they're going to start meditating because they're considering it.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of if, it's just when.
Yeah.
But
I took 20 years.
Yeah. Well, all I can enthuse is my direct experience of it is, it's only now. It's only now.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. I need not worry about anything more than now.
Yeah.
So therefore there's no worry involved. So I don't think about, past and future like I used to, because the way I was approaching it in the first place got me to meditate. So the longer I left it to learn to meditate, the more I was coming to the world in the same way.
Yeah.
But that's the only way I can say it, is if you're even considering this, if now, when?
Yeah.
If not now,
when? Yeah, totally.
Yeah, sort of, if I'd be getting straight onto it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have direct experience of it. A lot of people don't.
Yeah.
And all I can say is it's the greatest thing I've ever done.
Yeah. And you know what?
It's the greatest thing I do.
Yeah. You're bloody lucky, Marshy. And you've just zapped me up again, mate. Like, I'm just full of beans.
We just need to get a mantra.
No, I don't need a mantra, mate.
Oh, but he does need a mantra, doesn't
No,
he?
don't worry. I'm humming.
What I'll say in addition to what you said, Marshy, is that, I've said this to you before, and I can't thank you enough because you've passed on one of the greatest gifts I've ever received in my entire life. It's been...
that's a lovely thing to say, David.
But it's true.
Yeah.
And you got to say thank you.
And I tell you what, Marshy, every time we sit down and yak with you, you come away I'm fizzed anyway, but you just come away with such a good feeling, and I'm sure that people that, the people that watch will they'll get the same vibe as we're getting. So a big thank you, mate. We really appreciate your time, your knowledge, your energy, your passion. Yeah. You're a real legend, bro. Yeah, we love you, mate. We love you.
My pleasure, boys. Yeah, love you. Awesome.
Go get some waves.
Oh, boy.
See you, mate.
Yeah, see ya.